Where was I before I went off on a tangent? Because I'm aggravated. I can only read so much of this without being so highly aggravated that I just want to write every senator in the House of Representatives, whoever the hell I got to write and say, why do we not teach people about their own minds and what they're capable of? It's just, it's absurd to me. Okay. I'm not sure if I started this one or not, but we're going to start it again. No, we're not. Definitely need to start marking my place. Solid matter in the strict construction of the term does not exist. Yeah, that's where I left off. Rather, atomic structure is composed of oscillating energy grids surrounded by other oscillating energy grids which orbit at extraordinarily high speeds. In his book, Stalking the Wind Pendulum, Bentov gives the following figures. The energy grid which composes the nucleus of the atom vibrates at approximately 10 to the 22nd power hertz, which means 10 followed by 22 zeros. For those of us that suck at math, like we're going to do the math. At 70 degrees Fahrenheit, an atom oscillates at the rate of 10 to the 15th hertz. So, an entire molecule composed of a number of atoms bound together in a single energy field vibrates in the range of 10 to the 9 hertz. A live human cell vibrates at approximately 10 to the 3 hertz. The point to be made is that the entire human being, brain, consciousness, and all is, like the universe which surrounds him, nothing more or less than an extraordinarily complex system of energy fields. The so-called states of matter are actually variances in the state of energy, and human consciousness is a function of the interaction of energy in two opposite states, motion versus rest, in a manner described in the following paragraph. I'm going to read that again. The point to be made is that the entire human being, brain, consciousness, and all is, like the universe which surrounds him, nothing more or less than an extraordinarily complex system of energy fields. The so-called states of matter are actually variances in the state of energy, and human consciousness is a function of the interaction of energy in two opposite states, motion versus rest, in a manner described in the following paragraph. This is where it gets, when you think it can't get any stranger or any aha moments, or number 12, holograms, as in Star Trek, as in the holodeck, as in, does anybody see what's happening here? They are making reference. There are so many movie references in this paper, and I mentioned Stranger Things in, I think, my first video, maybe my second video, and I don't know if the actual Stranger Things is in this paper, because there's another one I'm reading. We'll get to it. If anybody's still watching these things, we'll get to it. Might be in remote viewing. More CIA documents, because I have several that I've pulled from the CIA website. If anybody, and I've read them. Remote viewing is, I think, the one that is the Stranger Things. Because this is the one that talks about sensory deprivation. You know how they put her in the tank? If you haven't watched Stranger Things, you might want to watch it. It's not just a kid show. I've always been into sci-fi and all that, and extremely drawn to them. Here goes my foot again. I don't know if you noticed or not. In my last video, I'm steadily rubbing my foot. Stepped on the baby toy. Think I did something to my... Yeah, no, I did something to my foot. Yeah, it's pretty gross. But, Yeah, there's a lot of references to movies here. A lot of this reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. That's why I call it Down the Rabbit Hole. You know, she's asleep. She's living this whole other existence. And in the spiritual community, you know, we believe that there are more, you're living, you know, several lives um, concurrently. You're on a couple different timelines. You know, whatever intent you put out there and you give energy to, it stays on its own timeline and it takes on its own existence. That's why I was talking about intention, potential. If you stop giving energy to something, that timeline kind of fizzles out. You know, so you have the option to jump back and forth. You know, when people change their minds constantly, they're keeping both these timelines alive. They got three different, they're giving all these timelines energy. And so they all exist parallel to each other until one of them just fizzles off, or they merge back together into a single timeline, which I don't know a whole lot about that and how many timelines we have or whatever. I'm into so much different stuff between actual factual documentation because I want people to have something tangible. I don't want them to say, boy, this one, she's off the rails. She's crazy. No. And I would have never started YouTube videos. You know, I had thought about doing tarot, but I was like, yes and no. And, you know, not a whole lot of people, you know, I had posted on my Facebook, you know, if you're interested in a tarot reading, hit me up. Nobody hit me up. Because people that know me personally, they just think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But, you know, I've always been labeled crazy. She's a crazy person. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully all of us are crazy because Einstein says, you know, craziness is sane. Being normal is insane. Because we're not normal. We're all far, far above normal. And the goal is to get everybody to understand that. Number 12, holograms. Create your own reality. Create your own hologram. You close that door, and I come in this room, and I create my own world. What's happening out there does not concern me. That is not part of my world right now. Everything that I am living is in this room according to my perception. My perception. So literally everyone lives in their own world because their world is perceived by their mind. How you perceive the outside of yourself determines the world that you live in. So I'm going to get to holograms in the next one. It's number 12. And you can decide whether or not you live in the holodeck and you want to believe any of this. But it's real. And it's happening. And we need you to be aware and take back control of your life. Till next time. Bye.